Hey guys, Tom back here for another video. It's been a few weeks, so I got the urge to come on and talk about some records, talk about some music. Hope everyone is doing well and all that. It's December. This year flew by for me. I don't know about you guys, but this year seemed to fly by. So yeah, getting ready for Christmas. Probably gonna be not showing as much, not buying as many records. Well, maybe buying records, but not for myself. Maybe a few for myself. You know how that goes. Anyways, let's get into some music. By the way, I just want to say real quick, thank you for all the new subscribers. I did notice I've been picking up a few subscribers pretty steadily growing, so thank you for everyone that's subscribed. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Leave me comments if you want. So first up here, some of these I've had for a while, including this one, Woody Shaw, Love Dance. Maybe his most well-known record. I think it's probably his most well-known from his solo work. Love Woody Shaw. This record is amazing, from 1976 on Muse. Just excellent, amazing hard bop, post bop, fusion stuff. I think this would fit in really well, spiritual, really well in the Strata catalog. Strata East catalog. You have Woody Shaw on trumpet, Steve Turr on trombone, Renee McLean on sax, Billy Harper on tenor. It says tenor tax. I just noticed that under Billy Harper instead of sax it says they wrote tenor tax. Misprint, I'm sure, but kind of funny. Joe Bonner on piano, Cecil McBee on bass, Victor Lewis on drums, Guillermo Franco on percussion, Tony Waters on congas. So by the lineup there, you could tell it probably fitted pretty well on Strata, but amazing post-bop, spiritual record. Yeah, really cool. Kick along with Woody Shaw, in my opinion. I got all the Woody Shaw stuff basically together, so around the same time at least. Next one, the Woody Shaw Concert Ensemble. This is at the Jazz. What's it called? Full name? I think it's just called At the Berliner Jazztage at the Berliner Jazztage. So you can see a lineup there on the front. You have, as opposed to Woody Shaw, Renee McLean, Frank Foster, Slide Hampton, Ronnie Matthews, Stafford James, Louis Hayes on drums. Always does a great job on drums. Once again, very nice post-bop stuff. Awesome live set. This is really cool. They always keep it moving on. It's never really a dull moment. Never really any downtime on this. So definitely recommend this one. I think this one's pretty cheap too. On Muse as well. And maybe the hardest record to find from Woody Shaw, at least in my opinion, for me personally, was Blackstone Legacy. This is from 1971, so a little bit before the previous two records. Excuse me. This is Contemporary Records, the classic Contemporary Records yellow label. And thank you to Andy for this one. He ended up hooking me up with this one, so really cool. Yeah, and fantastic. This one, kind of the same style of music as before, although a bit more free, I would say. Free improvisation, a bit of rhythm, but a bit more free bop, I would call it. Although these recordings were really, from what I understand, really motivated by the political climate of the late 60s and early 70s, so as you can imagine, a lot of music around that time would have sounded like it's no different. So on here you have Gary Bartz, Benny Maupin, George Cables, Ron Carter, Clint Houston, Lenny White. Fantastic. Highly recommend checking this out. Definitely one of my favorite recordings from Woody Shaw. This one and Love Dance, I would recommend those two if you're going to check out anything from him. A bit different sound, but both really great. Moving on to a couple pieces from Mr. Don Cherry. First one is the classic Where is Brooklyn? Never had this on vinyl, so finally was able to grab a original pressing. I believe this is the Liberty pressing. I think it's the original, so that's what this is. From 1969. Free jazz, as you could imagine, but more focused on group dynamics and group playing as opposed to soloing. From what I remember. in this one, but fantastic. Don Cherry, Pharoah Sanders, Henry Grimes, Ed Blackwell. Can't go wrong with that quartet, in my opinion. So some great interplay, energy between those guys. Definitely. Highly recommend this one right here if you're into Don Cherry at all. Come on, get in there. And another one from Don Cherry I did not have. Finally happy to add this to my collection. This is the US pressing of Eternal Now from 1976 on Antilles. Originally came out in 1974 on Sonnet, I think. I don't see Antilles label. Sorry about the glare. This one was still sealed actually when I got it, so popped it open. A little bit of a warp, but not bad. Doesn't affect play at all. So, but this is more world jazz as opposed to the free jazz. More world fusion, world music, percussion heavy. Not your traditional jazz instruments either. A lot of Asian and Eastern instruments. I think the only traditional jazz instrument being the piano. The rest are all kind of world style instruments. So, like I said, Eastern influence or Eastern instruments. Really spiritual, experimental. Really kind of open and airy, I would say, in places, but fantastic. So definitely check this one out if that sounds like your thing. You guys know what Don Cherry was doing in the 70s. So, and if you don't, if you're new to my channel, you don't know what he was doing, then definitely check out that period he was playing. Next up here, moving on to a more AACM style free jazz record. This is the Creative Construction Company with Volume 2. Also on Muse, coincidentally. A lot of Muse records, and planned that way, just kind of worked out. This is a part 2 of a live concert recording from New York City. So if you don't know who the Creative Construction Company are, there's the lineup right there. You have Leroy Jenkins, Anthony Braxton, Leo Smith, without Leo Smith, Muhal Richard Abrams, Richard Davis, and Steve McCall. So you can tell from that lineup, fantastic players all around. The sleeve's a little bit beat up, but who cares? The record plays fine. It's actually a white label promo. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool find. Still looking for Volume 1. I don't believe it's too hard to find, but just never came across it. Moving on to a person who I don't have a lot of records from, unfortunately. I would love to, but they're all really expensive, the originals anyway. This is Welded Irvine. This is Sinbad, one of his later records from 1976 on RCA. I think this is on RCA Victor. Yeah, I'm sorry, RCA. This is I believe it's a promo copy. It has a promo gold stamp there on the back, but Welded Irvine, funky, kind of a variation of styles. This one, funky improvisation to kind of more mellow funk soul style, but really nice. This is most important, I think, for the debut of Don Blackman. Was on piano and on vocals on this, which he did a lot of great stuff. Now, familiar with him, definitely go look him up. But Welded Irvine, always great, always fantastic. But yeah, one of his later records. Happy to have anything from him. So really cool. And then adding one to my black jazz collection, which I haven't added anything onto there in a while. Really pricey nowadays, so kind of veered away from collecting those. This is Gene Russell with Talk to My Lady. One of the probably most well-known records on the label from 1973. Always see Gene Russell stuff around, so yeah, 73 classic black jazz label. So I always love this label, so I'll just show it. But this is a promo copy as well. I think the promo copies of this are actually more common than the not promo copies, so kind of funny. Sleeve's a little bit beat up, as you can see there, but the record's fantastic shape, so really cool. As you can imagine, that classic black jazz sound, funky, soulful, really funky cuts actually of My Favorite Things. The classic My Favorite Things, you guys don't probably know that track. John Coltrane did a fantastic version of it, as well as many other people. And the track Get Down has a awesome bass line. I think it'll go great for who had that thread a while back about bass line? Was it Andrew? Yeah, fantastic bass line on that Get Down, but overall funky, soulful, great stuff. Gene Russell. Personally, not one of my favorite players on the label, but still really good. And then moving right on to another funky record that you usually don't get funk from, but the player anyway, Ornette Coleman with Dancing in Your Head. Yeah, like I said, this is kind of a different sound for Ornette here. This is from 1977 on Horizon. One of these Unipack gatefolds, which I'm really not a fan of. The record comes out here. Whatever. It is what it is. Kind of a really cool cover where you can look at it either way and it's still, you know, still the same thing. But either way, onto the music. Like I said, fantastic. Kind of free funk, I would even call it. You kind of get a bit of Ornette's free jazz, regular free jazz, but with a really nice funky style thrown in there. On this is a field recording of Ornette playing in Morocco, along with the master musicians of Jajuka during a religious ceremony. The track Midnight Sunrise. That's what that is. So really cool. Ornette was really into that funky Moroccan sound around that time, I guess. Yeah, really cool recording. Definitely worth checking this one out. Ornette at his funkiest, probably. I'd say it definitely does not disappoint. So. After that, I have a few here from Albert Ayler. I have a live album. This one came out in 1990, I believe. Yeah, 1990. On a really unknown label to me, Philology, something like that. There's a label. Live recording in Europe during the 60s. You have Don Cherry, Albert Ayler, Gary Peacock, Sonny Murray on a jazz club in Copenhagen from 64, and then you have Albert Ayler, Don Ayler, Michael Sampson, Bill Falwell, Beaver Harris at the Berlin Jazz Festival from 1966. So two different sides there. Both great stuff, as you can imagine, from Albert Ayler and crew doing their thing. Okay, and then the other one here I was kind of a bit disappointed with. Not Albert Ayler's performance per se, but the other musicians that were playing with him. This is the first recordings. I think it was also originally titled Something Different, was the name of this one originally. Came out in Sweden in 63 first, and then this is a reissue, a US reissue from 73 on the GNP Crescendo label, which I've heard of the label before, but don't have anything from it, except for this now. But yeah, the other musicians weren't really keeping up with Albert's pace, his style of improvising on this, so you guys probably know how he plays. If you don't, he's really kind of out there. Yeah, the other musicians were, well, I'm not even going to pronounce it, I'm probably going to mess up the names, but there you go. Those guys. Swedish musicians, and they just, yeah, kind of wasn't working out, unfortunately, but still cool to have. Albert Ayler, always nice to have, so. I don't know, I gotta give that another listen, see what I think. That was kind of my first few impressions of it, so. This one here is really cool. Been after this one for a few years now, really happy to find this for a decent price. This is Infinite Sound with contemporary African music, contemporary African American music, excuse me, from 1975 on pretty much a private press on their own label, the 1750 Arch Sound or Arch Records label. This is spiritual jazz, but kind of really out there, weirdo spiritual jazz. Yeah, it's really good. Definitely stuff that I'll enjoy. A lot of you guys would probably dig this. Roland Young was on this. He's in this group. Plays clarinet, alto and soprano, saxophone, percussion, along with someone called Glenn Howell, who played bass, percussion, and voice work, and Aisha Khalil, who does vocals and percussion as well. Like I said, been after this one for a while. Really happy to have found it. So you can find it. It's a little bit pricey at times. So. But great, fantastic. Like I said, spiritual, kind of out there, jazz stuff. Not really going into free jazz. I guess you can call it free jazz, but more spiritual, just kind of improvised jazz, I would guess. This is what we're listening to in the background. The rest of these are going to be Polish records, Polish jazz records. So, starting with Laboratorium or Laboratorium. This is their live record called The Blue Light Pilot on Helicon, Polish jazz label, I believe. This is from 17, wow, sorry. What year is this from? This is from 1982. Yeah, Polish jazz, fusion, jazz rock, as you can hear. One of their later records, still good. Some of their earlier records are a bit more kind of jazz rocky. I guess it's still jazz rock, but I don't know, their earlier stuff is a bit better in my opinion. This is still good, still great. I still have it obviously, but the other stuff I just enjoyed a bit more. So Quasimodo, Diver. Quasimodo maybe would be my favorite, but Diver, their first earlier live albums, all great stuff. A really cheap but good Polish jazz fusion recording here. Not much to say about this. I don't really know too much about this. Not really familiar with many of the musicians that were on this, but still really nice stuff. String connection. I believe Chris Cole sent me the link to this one. Snagged it up really cheap. This is from 1984 on the Polton label. These next few here I've been after for a while, so we're happy to have crossed these off the list. I think Anthony Canflone showed this one not long ago. I believe he showed this, the Michael Urbaniak group with In Acton. Really fantastic jazz fusion stuff. This is on the Spiegel label, the German egg label. Yeah, you guys probably seen that label before. I always love that label. Oh, sorry guys, just give me 1 second. I'm gonna fix something here. Get a drink real quick. Sorry, voice gets dry from a lot of talking. Alright, anyway, violin heavy jazz rock stuff. If you don't know who Michael Urbaniak is, but this is really nice though, kind of all over the place. Cosmic, part rootsy, electronic, all the way to just straight up like screechy, squelchy jazz stuff, free jazz stuff. Ursula Dudek does, his wife at times does vocals, her kind of scatting, not really singing vocals, but still really beautiful, really great stuff. She actually has a device, I'm not sure what it's called, where she, what's it called, the echo chord or dynacord, where she like kind of tweaks and just like does enhancements to her voice in real time and kind of plays with it. Really, really cool. Yeah, love this record. Czesław Bartowski on drums, Adam Makowicz on Fender piano, Bronisław Kovac, who is I forget where he's from. He's not from Poland though. He plays percussion as well, congas, and Roman Diak on bass. So definitely recommend that one. I think you can get that one in a 2-pack, actually a 2-fer with another record. And the last few here, big wants for a long time. First one here, TWET, by Tomasz Stanko, who I think is just the name of the album. TWET takes the letters of the musician's name. I don't know if it's first or last, or they mix it up. But you have Tomasz Stanko, Tomasz Szukalski, Edward Versala, and Peter Warren. Tomasz Stanko, Edward Versala were a duo for a while, played together for a long time. I'm not sure if they still do, but anyway, 1974 on the Polskie Nagrania label. Has a lot of the Polish jazz records. Some of the best Polish jazz records are, in my opinion. But this is just kind of intense out there. Free jazz, improvisational jazz, excuse me. Yeah, it really gets intense and out there at times, but really flimsy kind of Polish sleeves, which I hate. Get destroyed really easily, just really hard to keep in good shape. And the last one here, I've probably wanted the most for the longest. This is just the Polish Jazz Quartet. It's a name, self-titled, from 1965 on the same label, Polskie Nagrania. Excellent, just modal post-bop from just some of the best players in Poland at the time and to this day, in my opinion. You have Jan Ptasin Wróbelski on tenor sax, Wojciech Karolak on piano, Julius Sandrecki on bass, and Andrzej Dubkowski on drums. Fantastic quartet. If you don't know this one, definitely I highly recommend going to check it out. Fortunately, this copy was a bit of a budget copy, so I got it for cheap. There was a tear there, that bottom piece is missing, but still, picked it up, good for the price, so I jumped on it. I will, if I see a better replacement copy, I'll definitely grab it. But for this, really happy to have this after years of searching. Finally have it, so really cool. Like I said, excellent modal post-bop stuff. Definitely recommend checking that out, and some of the Woody Shaw stuff. I recommend anything in this video. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Got some more stuff to show, so I'll be back probably in a few weeks. Not sure if I'll be back before Christmas or not, but if not, have a good holidays, guys, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.